Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Baskets and Beads Fair Trade Network. I am your co host, Vanessa Romero, and creative director of Baskets and Beads. And if you notice, I am solo today. Yes, I am. Normally, you always see Eldonna here on this live every Thursday. Sometimes I'm not present, but you always see Eldonna. And yet today, she's not here. I wonder why. Let's think about that for a moment, right? Well, if you've been following, then you know that Eldonna is on her way to Africa. She officially left yesterday. And so I am here with you on this Thursday. Today's going to be a short but also a very special segment because there are two things that we're going to be talking about today. One, of course, is I want to share with you some photos of Eldonna's departure because her and I have been in contact, and I want to share some photos with you in a few moments. And the other thing that I want to share with you is I decided to I should say, I wanted to take this time to talk to you a little bit about how Eldonna and I actually connected. And I think, yeah, I thought it was important to share that with you today. And I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I definitely wanted to take this moment to do that with you. The next couple of Thursdays, because Eldonna will be gone and she won't be returning until right around June 14th. And so that means we have two more Thursdays, June 1st and June 8th, that she will not be here. But we do have some special things in store for you, the viewers and the listeners. As she's on her trip, we're going to take that time on both those next two segments to bring you the updates on how things are going on the trip, some of the experiences that she's having with the ladies there in Africa. And I'm looking forward to hearing from her and getting all these updates, but I'm also looking forward to being able to share those updates with you. So let's get right into this. Let's spend a few moments together and then wish you well for the rest of your day and also for your weekend. But I'm going to jump right into it with you. The first thing I want to jump on board with, and I have my phone ready here, is I just wanted to kind of go through and show you some of the photos that Eldonna sent me as of yesterday as she was heading out, getting on the plane as well, and getting ready to board. But as you can see, there she is, all smiles, looking all cute there, as she always is. And she was getting ready to board the plane at this point. I'm just going to keep going. There she is as well, nice and comfortable in her seat in the airplane. Let's keep scrolling through. Okay, she was just showing me the itinerary or whatever there at the airport. Her station there, at gate number and so forth and so forth. So you see that information that's right there as well. There she is, gate 133. She was just kind of, oh, here's another great one. I was like, make sure, that you're eating well, right? That you're staying hydrated, just giving your body the fuels and everything that you're going to need as you're at going on this trip. Definitely Eldonna is, in fact, she's one of those boots on the ground kind of gal, meaning she's going to get right in there with the women. And so she's going to need her energy and her strength. And if you've been watching the segments from previous, she's been preparing for the trip, you knew that also Eldonna was experienced a lot of back pain. So thankfully, her back is feeling a lot better. So she is and was and is in good spirits. And so her back is not giving her a lot of issues right now. Again, here's some photos of her showing me she's getting her luggage situated there. There she is again with her luggage, smiling, of course. I know she's just extremely, extremely excited to get over there and to be with the ladies. And so, anyways, I just wanted to share those photos with you and let you know that Eldonna is well. I will be hearing from her again. And so when I meet with you guys again on June 1st, I'll have again some other great updates for you, some more photos, maybe even some video footage, which reminds me, she actually sent me a small little video. I'm going to share it with you right now. Let me open up my phone one more time here so we could take a look at that. Where is that video at? I know it's in here somewhere. Here we go. Here it is. So she's just kind of like, It's just her moving along in the airport there, getting ready to go into the airplane, rolling in with her luggage, her carry-on right there. So it is happening, folks. She is in the air. She is on her way. So we can expect more updates from her. So now that I've had the opportunity to share with you some of the photos and that small little video clip of her getting into the airplane, the other thing that I wanted to share with you today from my heart to yours is I just wanted to give you the backstory of how I actually connected with Eldonna, because it definitely ties into baskets and beads. Okay. So, as you know, Eldonna is a public speaker, and I, uh, was introduced to her at a convention, at a conference, a leadership conference that she was one of the keynote speakers at. And so after the event was over, I was just really drawn to, like, I want to meet this woman. And I ended up going to her table where she sold her books, introduced myself, and then that was that. But it was very, she was very, there was an impression that was made on me. And I just felt really drawn to her. Well, a week later, I attended a 1 year celebration of a local business in the community that I was a part of. At that time, I owned and I operated a beautiful boutique space that specialized in women supporting women and working with other women entrepreneurs, with handcrafted, handmade goods. I think you might have an idea where I'm going with this, because this is part of how and why we connected. So I show up to the local business, for their 1 year celebration. And as I walk into the building, lo and behold, there is Eldonna. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I just saw this woman last week at a conference. She was speaking and now she's here. And I was like, why is she here? Like, does she know? Obviously, she must know somebody here. And so we started to chat that day, had great conversation. And then that was done. All of a sudden, maybe a week, week and a half, 2 weeks, I don't know. It wasn't very long from that second, time, meeting her, engaging with her, that all of a sudden I received a message through Messenger on Facebook. And the message was from Eldonna. And it read something like this. It said, I'm currently in Africa. God is speaking to me here. When I get back, I need to see you. Now, I really didn't know Eldonna. Like, it wasn't like we were already hanging out. We were like, I knew of her at this point. I had only seen her twice. The first time she's speaking, the second time we started to talk. Now I'm receiving this message of, when I get back, I need to see you. I need to come see you. And I'm like, okay, great. So she comes back from her trip. She visits me at my boutique. She begins to share with me her experiences while she's on this trip. How moved she was by the women, the just overall, like, her connection to these women, and her heart, and she was being pulled and drawn to wanting to help these women. And that's where the concept of, at the time, book and a bead was developed. The concept, the idea came to her because at the time she had her public speaking platform, and so she was going to utilize that platform to share the stories of her experiences with these women in Africa. And while selling her book, she was going to start to sell these paper beaded necklaces, and the proceeds were going to go back to the women in Africa. So she's sharing this with me as we're sitting in my boutique. And then she begins to tell me, after all this, she tells me, Vanessa, will you help me? And I was like, yes, yes. And I already knew at this point, I already knew where this conversation was going. And I was already feeling connected to that, because although we were already helping women, but locally, women within the area, women from the Inland Empire, San Bernardino County, Orange County, LA County, women vendors, creators, women that were handcrafting and hand making goods within the community. And now here's this beautiful opportunity for us as a boutique, as a retail space, to extend ourselves even further by not only helping women locally, but now we have an opportunity to help women globally. So I said, yes, let's bring the goods in. And she had goods with her that day. She was already ready to go. She's like, she brought them out. She started to show them to me. And of course, immediately I had already connected with the story. I connected with her heart. I connected with her vision. I connected with her drive and the passion, what she wanted to do for these women. And so we began to sell the paper beaded necklaces in the shop. And eventually that grew from necklaces to the paper beaded bracelets. Then that grew into the handbags, the clutches, and the handbags started to come into the space as well. So that's where it started. And then I started to think, because we were already doing this for the other vendors, and I told her, you know what, we need to bring you in so that you can share the story with the audience, with the people. We'll get the word out there. We'll let people know about you and what you're doing, and we'll bring them in so that you can then share the stories with them and connect them with the stories, and so that they can support what's happening with baskets and beads. And that's kind of what we began to do. She would come in on different occasions. We would highlight her on our social media platforms and say, hey, come listen to Eldonna um, Fernandez, and hear the stories of baskets and beads, hear how you can support what's happening with the women there in Africa. And the word began to go out. And so she would come in. And so during all that time, our sisterhood, our connection began, started to develop. We began to really connect more on a sister level. And, I've gotten to know Eldonna over the years, and I know and I believe in what she is doing. And that is why, even still now, I'm here supporting what is happening with baskets and beads. But before I jump to that, so what ended up happening is at some point life would transition me, and I would shut down my boutique space, and then I would relocate and come out here to the Orange County area. And we stood in contact through all this time, and I came out to Orange County and resided out here in the OC. And I remember her on one occasion, us talking, and then she kind of threw out this idea. She said, what do you think about coming on board with me with baskets and beads and helping me from a creative perspective with what is happening with baskets and beads? And I just knew in my heart, I knew that it was this, there was a season, that was the season, and I needed to do this. And so I very enthusiastically said yes. And I said, let's do this, Eldonna. And so last year in 2022, I got to tell you guys, Eldonna worked her tail off. She was at so many pop-ups and different events and festivals, and you would see her everywhere. In addition, I want to give a great shout out to Fair Trade Long Beach as well. In addition to being in a physical brick and mortar space, which is Fair Trade Long Beach, she was taking on all these pop-up events all throughout different areas of town, not only here in the Orange County area. I mean, she was driving far to do these events for the purpose of exposure for what was happening with baskets and beads. And then we got to take in consideration, everything that's happened with COVID and all that. And we all had to get creative regarding how we were going to sustain ourselves with businesses and so on. And so she weathered through all of that. And last year, though, I can tell you that the vision was all about doing events and getting out there and bringing more exposure to what is happening with baskets and beads. That was exhausting. It was, we did it. She did it. I say we because although she was the one going to the events, the preparation to get her ready for all these events, we were going, we draw the space out. We know what we're working with measurement, with size, and then loading up the vehicle, making sure everything fit. It's literally a game of Tetris. Loading the vehicle, the cars, or the vehicle. Usually it's just one, it's her vehicle, loading everything into that vehicle so that she can get to her destination and have everything that she needs for the festival, the event, the pop-up, whatever it is that she is doing. Sometimes it's more than one day. Sometimes it's a 2-3 day event that she's at. And that can be exhausting, but she's done it because of her belief and her faith, and because she really feels, and I know this, this is what she's been called to do in this season of her life. And so she's going to give it everything that she has. And that's exactly what she's doing. And so that was the vision. That was the plan for 2022. And we exhausted that plan. We got to the end of the year of 2022 and we sat, and I said, okay, Aldana, We need to formulate a new plan. What is this new plan? What are we going to do? How are we going to strategize going into the new year of 2023? Because we know what the goal is. We know what we're looking to accomplish. The goal is to help these women to get out of these impoverished circumstances, to give them stability, right? To teach them to fish, and so that their children can go to school. They can leave areas of where they're at, and go into other areas that are safer for them, to not have to live on the streets, or it's just so extreme there when it comes to poverty, right? It's not the poverty that we know here. It's so different, and that's poverty. And so we want to help these women to get out of those circumstances. And you've already heard Eldonna speak about a lot of the development and the growth. Now there's a parcel of land up in Mount Elgon, and there's vegetation growing there, and that is a huge accomplishment. Uh, the inventory, I'm looking at it right now as I'm talking to you. I'm in the space, and the inventory has grown so much. It went from just paper beaded necklaces and paper beaded bracelets, and now there's like housewares, and there's all this beautiful decor. You got soapstone, you got apparel, you got clothing, you got tunic, you got skirts, you got aprons, you got headbands, you have pillows, you you have brooms, you have beautiful clutch purses, and the list just goes on and on and on. There has been such a huge amount of growth that has happened with baskets and beads. So the last thing I want to share with you is, going into the new year though, 2023, what was going to be the vision? What was going to be the plan for baskets and beads? So we sat and we talked about it. And whenever there's growth, we know that you and I have to be willing to step outside of our comfort zones. That means we're going through a time of stretching. And that is exactly what happened. Eldonna was being stretched yet again. Yet again. And what did that look like? We had a warehouse space, which meant the inventory was housed there. But that was the extent of the space. There was no room for what we have now. I'm sitting in a studio space right now with lighting and cameras and microphones and everything. We did not have that at the time. I'm sitting also in a space, in an area where I can look and I can see a showroom now, a beautiful showroom where goods are set up in a beautiful way. And then behind me on this other side of this wall, there is a warehouse space where there are racking systems, and there are bins, and there's product placed in all of these bins, and it's all housed in there now. The goal was get into a bigger space, and that required some faith. But here we are now in 2023 with a showroom, a studio, and a warehouse space. That means that if you are a wholesaler, you can come into the studio space, you can come into the showroom, and you can take a look at the goods. You can sit in this peaceful space, and you could take your time going through the goods and choosing the pieces that you would like to resell in your space. And so much growth, so much has happened from the time she started to where we are at now. And she is now yet again on another trip to Africa. And I absolutely anticipate that we are going to be receiving some great reports on her trip. And I cannot wait to share those reports with you. I cannot wait to share with you how lives are being transformed, how women are, they're growing in their faith, and they're growing in their self-esteem, and the healing that is taking place in their lives, and their children, how the development of their children, that these children now have the opportunity at an education. And that's because you and we believe in what is happening with baskets and beads. I'm going to leave you with this. When you and I invest, I say it's an investment. When you buy a necklace, when you buy that clutch purse, when you buy that dress, you are at this moment, you and I are being conscious buyers, because we understand that the funds for that good are going back to those families. And that is making a difference for them. They're not just sitting on the side asking you for money. They're willing to do something. They're willing to create. And what they are creating is beautiful. What they are creating is unique. What they are creating is one of a kind. So when you and I are wearing it, people ask, whenever I wear baskets and beads, I'm always getting asked, man, that's really cool. Where did you get that from? And it just gives me the opportunity to share. I kid you not. I have sold stuff off of me. I was in a market in a grocery store, and a woman loved, I was wearing earrings from Baskets and Beads, and she's like, I love those earrings. And I was like, okay, well, she's like, no, I want those earrings. I'm like, you would be okay with me taking these off my ears right now, and you would buy these off me right now? She's like, yes. I sold her earrings. I've done that twice already with earrings from Baskets and Beads, let alone like I have headbands from Baskets and Beads, and every time I'm always, those are so cute. Where'd you get that? And I tell them, oh, it's Baskets and Beads. There's always these opportunities for me to share, because even as I'm wearing it, like, I'm marketing it, and I love that I can do that, and I love that I can lead people to Baskets and Beads, and that they're purchasing and they're making a difference in the lives of these women. So stay tuned for more. Next week, we're going to be talking again with regards to updates from Eldonna. We will have more updates from her. And then on June the 8th, expect Eldonna to be with me, but virtually, because she will still be in Africa. But we're going to have a special segment where Eldonna and I are going to be talking and sharing with you guys while she's in Africa. Guess what, though? I have to get up at the crack of dawn for that phone call, because we kind of timed it. We know what our time difference is. And I'm like, okay, well, it looks like I may have to, it's not that early, I guess, but I have to be up probably right around 5 a.m. or whatever. And so I'll be up at 5 a.m. Well, and then we'll be doing the segment together, and we'll be able to present that segment to you guys, so you guys can hear from her while she is there in Africa, which I think is going to be really cool. It's going to be exciting as well. So we all can look forward to great updates from Eldonna. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for spending these moments with me today on this segment on this Thursday. Here I am solo, but it was a great time with you. I hope that you enjoyed yourself as well. And of course, as we always like to say when we are signing off from Baskets and Beads Fair Trade Network, we like to say to you, Nakupenda.